Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm going to start tonight live, kind of on a heavy note. I ended up getting wind of a friend ODing on fentanyl earlier today. They passed away a couple days ago. This is the third person I know of in the last, I'd say, 10 years. Specifically ODing on fentanyl. I had a bit of a moment to think of all the hard work that the authorities are doing to take all the drugs off the street. And although I commend their efforts, kind of makes all the work pretty well pointless, specifically when it's so close to home. So, tonight's episode, tonight's collective, I want to kind of focus on how precious life is. A lot of us are going through it right now. A lot of us are trying to make sense of it all. A lot of us are trying to get through it the best way we know. This is one of the reasons why I have this place. This is why I have my page. Because when I was in a dark time and I had no one, when I had no closure, when I had no clarity, when I had nothing but myself, I didn't even have family to rely on. And again, the one that I thought was the one that I thought was supposed to be there for me. And yeah, I know I need to let it go. I've been trying. I've been doing my best to let it go. But all this effort trying to let it go, it doesn't seem to want to leave. It wants to continue. wreaking its havoc. For years I thought, you kind of got to be on drugs in order to make it through the day, to live on Earth. With how crazy it got, I was only joking. I was only joking because of the audacity of people. I was only joking, trying to bring some humor into it. People go through life thinking it's a big fucking joke, that it's okay to fuck up, that it's okay to make mistakes. Not realizing that some mistakes might cost you your life, and some mistakes might keep the nightmares away. But where do we draw the line? There's certain studies going on right now where doctors are giving up their licenses to practice because now they're coming to conclusions that all the medications that they've ever prescribed anyone did nothing but harm and create even more of an imbalance within the body structure. The fact that we were made in the perfect physical, energetic version. God doesn't make mistakes. But to live in a world and to live in a place such as this, where we have endless possibilities and we choose to bring it to a dark place, wreaking havoc on people's lives, sabotaging their happiness, making them suffer, bringing them to the point where they have to self-medicate, bringing them to the point where they don't even feel happy or even like they belong in their own skin, like they feel they need to change absolutely every aspect of themselves to make them feel better, to make them feel a part of, when they're perfect just the way they are. God doesn't make mistakes. Life is so much more fragile than what we give it credit for, and because of the infinite possibilities that we have available to us, it changes the way we see things, it changes the way we see the world. And some of us have no other choice but to bring it to a dark place. Great Spirit, guides, guards, protectors, angels, ancestors, divine light, please bring a collective message of what we need to know right now. Time is of the essence. Our very moments are fragile. What I'm getting from the cards right off the bat is we're losing the balance in us. We've forgotten the vow that we've made to ourselves, to the ability of love. We've lost the ability to nurture not only ourselves, but each other. The ability to nurture someone has been weaponized to the point where we close ourselves off and we sit on the precipice of what is and what could be. Yet we're scared of the unknown, all at the same time screaming out for help, going within and asking those unknown questions, pondering the possibilities, standing on the threshold of the now and the could have been, or the now and the could be, all the while dancing in the threshold of the underworld, losing our love to lust, losing the ability to nurture to manipulation, losing our voice to deception, not only forgetting the vow that we've made ourselves before we come here, but we're not making true and honorable the vow that we give to others. The ability to answer the questions that you get left unread. And again, all while dancing on the threshold of the underworld. Life is more precious and so much less than a joke than what people think it is. It's your wildest dream and your scariest nightmare all rolled into one. The possibilities are endless. The deception around you, it parades itself around like life, like it's love. Do you know the difference? Can you tell the difference between true love and fake love? Do you know the difference between real compassion and fake compassion? It's all connected to the intention, and it's all connected to the frequency in which it sits. If we all realize the impact that we make on an everyday basis, I think life would be a little different. I think if we honored those solid connections that we do have, I think we wouldn't necessarily feel as alone as we do. Sometimes we end up with nothing left to lose, and then we realize we are all part of the divine orchestration. We are all a part of the all, the Omega. If we had the chance to realize our true power, true ability, true potential, what would this world look like if if we were able to grow, fly, and soar, living our best life? What would our world look like? If we put the guns down, if we put the knives away, we put the bombs down, what would our world really, really look like? If we looked out for humanity, compassion instead of greed and control, what would it look like? Our life as we know it is at a precipice of change. For the ones that are walking around as if it's no big deal, I'll let you know now that you're part of the problem. Not taking accountability for your actions, wreaking havoc and chaos in people's lives, holding them back from their true potential, all because you couldn't rise to the occasion, all because you can't see them rising above you, leaving people out in the cold as if it's a good thing, making them feel excluded and not a part of, thinking it's a good thing, thinking it'll teach them a lesson, kicking them out and making them homeless, making them feel worthless. You know it gets you know it's getting bad when the food banks are at the point of breaking point, at the point where they don't have anything left to give. We've racked up inflation so high that it's impossible for an individual even to live on their own, to even have their own peace, their own space. Make it virtually impossible. And then they're somehow supposed to find some sort of sense, purpose in the world. Because who wants to just sit here and exist? It's better to make a positive impact. It's better to be part of a team, make something happen. I find it really funny how people think that it's okay to call people delusional. Meanwhile, they're the delusional. How many lives is it going to take before we start to see the truth? That what we thought we knew, what we thought we felt, turned out to be an illusion. Turned out to be just a big, huge joke, big, huge game of deception and control. Because that's exactly what the world's all about. Who can tell the best lie? Who can make the biggest sacrifice? I mean, come on, we got people out here living their best life, and then just around the corner, there's people living their worst hell. If I didn't know, if I didn't know it any better, I would think that heaven and hell are living in the same world, all at the same time. And it gives no choice but to show you those different paradigms. Heaven isn't up there. Hell's not down there. Heaven and hell is within you. And it's through your intention that brings you there. So if you intend to harm people, if you intend to heal people, once we all start coming in online and realizing that the very energy that you hold within yourself and the very energy that you hold and you emit outward into the world, into the ethers of reality, it matters more than what you look like. It matters more than what job you have or how much money that you have in the bank. The intention of your spirit matters more than your white picket fence. You can be the most beautiful person and still have the most ugliest soul, and vice versa. It all depends on how you want to show up in the world. I was so wrapped up in my channel. I was so wrapped up in the game stalking. I was so wrapped up in fighting for my life that I had a friend reach out to me, and I wasn't able to be there for them. I was too busy fighting for my own life. I think the one person that really needed my help, I've done my best. That's all I could do. I guess I'm more mad at myself that I couldn't show up the way I wanted to. Because if I had a magic wand, they would have been healed. Can only do so much. You can only lead them, but if they do not follow, it's out of your hands. They have to find it within themselves to work it out, to make their own decisions, to have their own understanding. I've sat here night after night trying to do a live, and all I get is karmic information, karmic messages. It gets frustrating. It's not all rainbows and lollipops. Sometimes we have no other choice but to deal with the karmic energy. I guess to some degree, you can't have one without the other. I've had to deal with so much death in my life, even from a young age. In the 3D and in the spiritual. I know my friend is at peace now. They're not suffering anymore. And it brings me comfort. We've had, we've had no other choice but to guard ourselves. Never thought in all of my life that I would have to guard myself against my own community. But it's a true story. They've lost their authenticity and their ability to be their true self, communities have literally been hijacked. The sacredness of these communities has been stripped, and it's been basically made into a mockery. And not only that, but it's created a situation where we are not able to be independent as individual communities. There's a division, and it's almost as if there's a conflict across the board between communities. It's all been orchestrated that way to take us out of the wisdom, to get us distracted. It's taken away the vision of the community, of what it's like to be guarded and protected, independent. We've lost our nobility as nations because of how we've handled humanity. And by taking absolutely no action, it creates chaos. And we've lost the magic. We have lost the magic, that of what is us, not only as an individual universe, but a universe of humanity. For a lot of us, we've lost the ability to act in our authenticity because we are constantly having to fit in a box. We're constantly being distracted by what other people think it should be and not focusing on ourselves within our own mind, within our own heart, being in the stillness of our spirit. The truth is coming out about the deception and the sacrifice of the mysticism and the magic. And in what makes us us, the true essence of who we are as co-creators, as the guardians of Mother Nature and Mother Earth. We forgot the vow. This is all based within your higher calling. It's all based within your destiny and your higher purpose. And the only way you access this is in your higher realms, in your north node, through your ascension. It's part of the journey. of ascending to the higher realms and then retreating, which emphasizes on the ebb and flow of every breath, of every movement within its balance. As above, so below. As within, so without. But must go up, must come down. I can sit here and wish and feel guilty about not being there. But I bring myself even back further. What if I wasn't there at all? What if I never met my friend? What if I never even made my channel? To think of the impact that I've made already on my channel, the lives that I've helped. I'm even more humbled today than I was yesterday or a couple days ago, because I understand the impact that I make now. And I also understand that there's an impact that I don't make. And I know that my silence speaks volumes. Even so, I might not think so. People went as far as inflating my numbers. I'm sorry, but there's no way I had 10,000 subscribers. They would have shown themselves. It's either that or it's just YouTube and its algorithms. But it doesn't make sense to me. Because here I am trying to make an impact. A good one. A good enough one to make you think. Because I know even for myself, the actions that we do and we don't take is still an action. And it still makes an impact, whether we like it or not. We could try till we're blue in the face to try to make the best impact possible and barely make a ripple in the big old in the big old pond. And then at one point, we decide to just jump right in and we make the bigger splash. Good. Ripples the whole damn thing. If we took heed in the actions and the reaction of not only how we show up for other people, but how they show up for us. We, as a collective, are going to be the ones that are actually going to make a difference in this world. Not the government, not your health system. It's going to be us. We are the only ones that are going to make the lasting impact within our generation. How long is it going to take? It would only take a moment in time if we all knew and we were all on board, we were all on the same page. It would be one moment in time, and things would start changing for the better, for humanity. But it takes us, every single one of us. We shouldn't have to medicate ourselves in order to live in the world. It shouldn't even be a figment of our thought that we would have to medicate. At least in the new world, it won't be like that. You'll live on your own merit. You will live and you will progress the same way that you treat your temple. We will emphasize on the healing in the new world, not creating customers, not creating dependence. We very well could live in a world where we wouldn't have to smoke cigarettes. It would be a figment of the past. We could be living in a world right now where we're not having to pick our vice in order to escape. Is that what we don't want, that we don't want to look at? That alone, a lot of our addictions and the reason why we have those addictions would dissipate. It would disappear and dissolve if we were all included instead of deluded and disgruntledly divided. We wouldn't feel so alone. We'd feel more a part of. We'd honor life. We'd protect it. We wouldn't have to feel threatened and fighting for our life. So my question is, how long is it going to take for us to realize that our life is way more fragile than a joke? How long is it going to take for us to realize that our life is so much more filled with infinite possibilities to very well be our best life timeline or our worst nightmare? How long is it going to take? How many holidays do we need to be able to celebrate the ability to be happy? You want to know how sick and disgusting holidays are? The one day that we're supposed to be thankful is the one day marked by unimaginable genocide. That's how sick and twisted the deception is. The fact that St. Patrick's Day is supposed to be a day of luck. Meanwhile, it's a day that held yet another massacre and yet another day of division. Oh, let's not even go on that. Let's not even touch on Valentine's Day. The very fact that apparently Jesus' birthday is on April Fool's Day. Yet we hold it on the day where the sun is born again, where the days start getting longer, and the death of the sun. Yeah. To return in the spring. Da, 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 da. The deception is real. And the more you look down the rabbit hole, the more it pisses you off. That the very Christians, God-fearing Christians, saying that devil worship and magic and witchcraft is bad. Meanwhile, they stole pagan holidays and they made them into their own. I'm not apologizing for my attitude or the way I feel right now. I'm human, just like you. I have the ability to feel just like you. And I shouldn't have to sit here and mold myself and be something that I don't feel that I am right now. And I'm tired trying to be shaped into something that I'm not. So the people that are sabotaging my name, thinking that they know me, they have no clue. Not like your opinion actually mattered anyway. But yet here I sit trying to make a safe place for people to come and feel included. And I can't even keep my chat open. I have to shut it down. Somehow I'm just supposed to roll it off, let it roll off like it doesn't even matter when it actually does matter. Because the more the world goes on like this, the longer it's going to take us to get into the new earth. Like, aren't we tired? Aren't we tired of fitting in the little stupid boxes they've got for us? All these little boxes that are crumbling. Like hell, these houses that are worth well into the $1 million. They're made paper thin. Cookie cutter pieces of shit. They barely hold heat for the wintertime. A storm rolls through at a particular point of the build of the house, it'll literally topple on itself. Most people think it's the 2x4s and 2x6s that keeps the house together. No, it's not. It's the outer skin, the plywood, the insulation, the vapor barrier. That's what keeps the house solid. But you go and you build a house in the middle of winter time and the roof isn't on and you get 3 and 4 feet of snow in on the perimeters of your inside of your house. And some people say, oh, that's okay, it's fine. Not a big deal. Just shovel it out. We'll get the heaters going. We'll get the dehumidifiers going. Everything will just be dandy. Not realizing the moisture's still going to get into the wood. It's still going to rot. It's still going to make the glue. It's still going to do its thing. And it ruins the integrity of your build. I know. I've seen it with my own eyes. And yet people still pay money for this and not even know. And then they wonder why their house creaks. They wonder why their house is full of all these different little noises. It's because people don't know how to show up. People don't know how to do their job. And people don't want to do their job anymore. They don't want to do what's right. They don't want to do what's required of them. That's why we have all these car companies going back and forth with all the recalls. Because people don't know how to do their job. And people are doing a half-assed job and not actually thinking quality matters. They would rather get quantity rather than quality. How long is it going to take to fix that? How about the food? The fact that there's salmonella poisoning, E. coli poisoning, people going out, working in the dirt, still not washing their hands. They go and they do their thing, and they go back to work and they don't bother washing their hands. And their hands are touching our food. People wonder why they tell you to wash the food. Why? Because people do things half-assed and they don't think quality, they think quantity. It's a quantity-based world right now. And we're losing our nobility. We're losing the wisdom, the tried and tested and true. We're losing our authenticity as human beings. We're losing the ability to protect ourselves within our essence of sovereignty, of being a human being. We're losing that essence of sovereignty if we're not careful. Talking worldwide as a collective. How long is it going to take? What moves do we need to make as a collective to make things better? They say nobody's going to come and save you, but I've had pretty amazing miracles happen in my life, where there were some pretty amazing, outstanding people to come into my life. I hold them all dear to my heart. It hasn't all been nightmares, but it's those people that make the decent impact in people's lives to make it a little better, that help you to strive and inspire you to keep going. These connections that you make throughout your life are very crucial to your survival. And a lot of us, we hold our connections that we have to be very superficial, very shallow, and we wonder why we don't have very much to stand on as far as the foundation of integrity, of authenticity, of wisdom, of nobility, having the same respect for others as you have for yourself. It's going to take teamwork to make the dream work. But the Matrix wants us all to be asleep to believe it. Little do we know, our next timeline, living our best life, has always been there right in front of us, waiting for us to take that step. Yet we continue to be bombarded and distracted by bullshit. Be in the stillness of your spirit. Recalibrate your heart and soul. Allow your mind and your heart to come into unison, to union, and be the peace that you are searching for within yourself first. Put down your grocery bags for 5 minutes and take out time to realize and remember how life is ever so precious. We could be here 1 minute and gone the next. This is why those that are wreaking havoc on people's lives are getting their karma. Because they are disrupting the status quo of peace and tranquility. This is why you reap what you sow. And this is why it is required that there is darkness. For without darkness, we cannot have light. But everything has its place. And we are meant to support each other throughout this darkness, not rip each other apart. It is supposed to emphasize the importance of community, of family, of teamwork, that we can survive another night, that we can strive through the darkness. We try to do it on our own. This is why healing is so important. Because the very energy that you carry within yourself impacts the world. As much as you think that you don't have anything to offer the world, when you do, just by being you. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Just you. And you don't have to change anything about yourself. All you are required to do is bring your mind and heart into balance. And just be in the essence of who you are. Simply put. All these other distractions are infinite possibilities, and you must have discretion as to whether or not you support it or not, whether or not it's in alignment with who you are. The ability to have infinite choices, infinite possibilities, is not only around you within the distractions, but it's within you. To remember who we are and why we are here at this time and place, in these moments. The last 2,000 years was a second chance at stepping into our true potential, and we're failing epically. As a collective, we're failing epically. This is your wake up call. How many people working full-time job as a single person is able to actually survive. As a single person, 40 hours a week, minimum wage. They keep putting minimum wage up, which raises the inflation. Because where's that money coming from? Between taxes, between expenses, and everything going up. Let's take one tax away just to add another somewhere else, as if that's going to make a difference. I was working 44 hours a week, was getting paid $20 an hour, and I still couldn't find a place to call home. And that's to pay rent, pay expenses for my car, to pay my bills, and to feed myself. 44 hours a week, $20 an hour. I mean, almost 60% of that was taken off for tax. Maybe 30%. Either way, it's a stupid amount to pay for services that I don't even trust in, because that makes sense. I thought about running for parliament. I thought about running for government at some point. But I just don't have the patience to deal with the fucking circus that it is. They're all acting like a bunch of circus animals. All work and no play makes Jimmy a dull boy. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for hearing me out. I've opened up chat again. Hoping that we can all just get along. What's the overall message for the collective human spirit? any confirmation to what I'm saying. Yeah. We've lost our credibility. We've lost the ability to communicate and commit to our wheel of fortune. To some degree, we've lost what was sacred, and I do believe that we're getting it back. Yeah, we're feeling a little stuck right now. We're definitely seeing the truth. We're not trapped in our head. We're seeing it for what it is. Even though we are uninspired, we don't want to fight anymore. I think the world will see peace. There's even talks, apparently, there's peace in the Middle East. There's a bunch of things going down, that things are getting better. I don't know if it's satire, but yeah, the world's become bitter. We're allowing the bitterness to overtake and to create a disorder, thinking that it will be order out of chaos, which is asinine in itself. Chaos only creates trauma, does not create order. Six of Wands. A lot of us has been left in the dark about things that actually matter to our well-being, the ability to come into balance within ourselves, the ability to love again. Not only ourselves, but others. Unconditionally. Could you imagine what that would look like? No, chaos is not useful for anything. That's your problem, Michael. You keep telling everybody that. If people continue to believe that, then that's exactly what's going to be. And by coming out with that tripe, and I'm not judging you as a person, but you set a very good example as to what's wrong with the world. And I'm not necessarily saying anything bad about you, and I know that it's just the status quo of what is. I get that's what you're trying to say, and this is why I'm saying that I'm not judging you on that. It's what they want us to believe, that order out of chaos. Unfortunately, it's the motto of people at the top. They're fools, but they're the ones in power. They've got us so down and deprived and helpless that that's what they want us to believe. That we're powerless. Somehow, some way, we don't have a say in the whole thing. Apparently, we can't police ourselves. We can't think for ourselves. There's a lot of people out there wreaking havoc, don't get me wrong. But the people out there wreaking havoc, they've only been screaming at the top of their lungs for years to begin with. The ones out there wreaking havoc are the ones that have finally snapped and let go. That gives no fucks. Yet they're looked on as imbeciles, as if they don't have a world or a life to live in. The greatest example of that is all the vets that are dedicated to their countries. They make those vows, and then they get programmed to think a certain way, to do a certain thing, all at the push of a button. Doesn't matter what that button does, but it's them that push the button, are held accountable for the action and the karma. And they have to live with that for the rest of their life. It's not the government, it's not the ones telling them to do the thing, it's the one that's actually doing the thing. And they have to sit with it for the rest of their life. And then, not only do they make a vow, not only do they give up their life, but now they get treated like shit. They get disrespected, they get dishonored, and they get to live homeless, decrepit on the street. All because they can't wrap around their head the fact that they got betrayed by the one thing that they gave their life up to. I mean, I can relate. Be pushed and prodded and poked and blackmailed into a stupid ass box for nothing. All just to make you feel small and delinquent Heaven forbid you actually got back on your feet again. You'd be a force to be reckoned with if you actually figured it out on how to cheat code through your existence. Heaven forbid the people rose up, the right people. If they were to rise up, you'd see changes. You'd see good changes. You'd see peace fall upon the earth again. You know, there was an uprising. There has been an uprising. And you know what? The media has made it into an absolute blasphemy. Made it into a big ass joke. So all the times that you rose up, you were made into a joke. All the times you protested, picketed, you're made into a joke. You're an absolute fool for even thinking that you think that you have control. That's what they want us to think. Somehow, we're supposed to be okay with that. Somehow we're supposed to just live with it. A world shouldn't have to protest. Because if the governments at hand actually lived for humanity, protesting wouldn't exist. There would be no need for it. If everybody's needs were met, we wouldn't need to protest. If we actually had a chance in the world, without the constant struggle and shaming and constant challenges and gang stalking and sabotage, imagine what life would be if you could go and learn something and actually not have to go into debt to do it. How about going to the hospital and actually getting somebody there that actually is going to listen to you and hear you out and try to find solutions to bring you back to your ultimate health instead of fill you full of chemicals and get you dependent on them. Like I'm all for science, I'm all for medicine, I'm all for, evolution and living our best life. But we shouldn't have to be dependent on it. We've been made in the perfect image, yet we've been made out to be the biggest joke, all because they think that we don't amount to anything. So how long is it going to take for us to finally realize? How long is it going to take us to step into the plan of taking back the earth? And dare I say it, make it great again? Oh my god. I'm kidding. I had to put a little humor in there. No, actually, the chip was in the arm, and it's already been given out. A lot of people didn't heed the warning. They thought everybody was crazy about it. When have you ever known when have you ever known something to come out onto the market within 6 months and be legit? Never happened. Usually takes 15, 20 years to get long-standing data to make sure that it's safe. The devastation that's already ensued and the devastation that is yet to ensue will leave you speechless. I'm not I'm not here to scare anybody, but it's not going to get very good. It's actually going to be quite devastating, and quite frankly, it already is. Yeah, it's Josh. And you know what? They still can't get back to work and do something good with it. Because I'm thinking they would have found a heck of a lot more of what's been going on a lot quicker had they been actually looking into it. So I think that whole act was all an act. It was to get us ready for everything else. But again, it's all an act. We can barely find ourselves out of a paper bag. I rest my case. What's the lighted? What's the light message? What does the spirit want us to know? Yeah, we're not in our head anymore. Hmm. Finding balance and adapting well. Little by little, we're going to get there. We have to remember that we need to keep action and drive as a factor. We need to continue to be inspired. Listen to the divine wisdom that is being told to you. All will be revealed in divine timing, but you are to focus on your own security. Be choosy as to who you share your energy with. Vitality and joy, adventure and potential for the future. But it will take some sort of a conservation to get through to the stability of it all. Mhm. There's a time and a place where we're having to call truce, having the courage to move forward, knowing that we are not as trapped as we thought, divinely guided, guarded, and protected, when in alignment with your vow. Blessings and well being, peace, hope, and healing, insights and focus. It all can be had within the unlimited possibilities, balance and harmony, justice, truth, and clarity, release and renewal, success and triumph, mental clarity and foundation, intuition and sacred knowledge is all at our fingertips. People be out there thinking that they're saying that they can access somebody else's Akashic record. I tell you, they're full of shit. The only one that can access your Akashic records is you. It is integrated into the structure of your DNA, and it is connected into your soul. It is divinely protected within your temple, within your vessel, which no one has the right or knowledge or power to access. There's certain emotions that are coming up, that are bubbling up within the within the populace of humanity. And it's coming to a position where the perspective and perception of what we see is neither true or fable. It is a possibility. All these people out there thinking that there's some sort of a uh, man-made prophecy. It will only come to it will only come to view and understanding if we allow it, if we give it power. But we have to understand that we also equally yoked, have the ability to change that, to make it into something peaceful. But what kind of intention would we move forward with? How would we see the new world after everything crumbles? How are we going to work that transition? How is this all going to work out once everything finally crumbles? What people don't realize is we are at the precipice of our demise, and it is the decisions that we make within our own existence, within our communities, that are currently divided and distracted. It is the actions that we will take within those communities that will make us or break us. So if our communities are discombobulated, if they're within division, if they're being divided, if they're being separated, if the communities are at odds, what kind of order would be brought out of that chaos? They've been taking the last 10 years, if not longer, and breaking up the family unit and doing a pretty smash up job about it. Ruining the whole basis of relationships, creating a superficial perspective as a distraction to take us away from feeling through our emotions, thinking that it's a good thing, when all it's doing is creating a nation of narcissists that can't think for themselves, they can't think for anybody else, yet they turn around and wreak havoc on people's lives, all because they can't feel through their pain and their suffering. They have no outlet for it, so they wreak havoc on people's lives to make themselves feel better about themselves. Trauma doesn't make you stronger. Trials and errors don't make you stronger. Because the right trauma, the right trial, the right error, it'll fucking kill you. That's how life is so precious. So no, it doesn't make you stronger. It makes you hypersensitive. Makes you hypervigilant. It raises your cortisol level, your stress hormone. It creates an imbalance within the body, within your spirit. The only way that you come back from that is when you surrender to your higher power. You can't do it alone. It is impossible to do it alone. I sure as hell wasn't going to submit to no darkness. I was already there. I already walked through the fire. I barely got out alive. But the day that the divine lit up my life is the day that it changed forever. I'm not going to say it was Jesus. I'm not going to say it was God. There's a specific reason why I mean and I say the divine. Because God is a Christian construct. And Jesus would be worshiping an idol. Going back to my heart's faith, going back to my life essence, the ability of my heart to beat, and that very energy of life itself is in essence the divine. The very magic to give you life is divine. It is not masculine, it is not feminine, it is divine. It is the all. It is the essence, the flicker, the flame. It is the light that flees the darkness. It keeps the nothing at bay, so long as you do not bring it in, giving you the power to shed light on that darkness, to see it for what it really is. Made in the perfect image, the very being of life itself, the co-creators of Mother Gaia. Everything provides a balance onto itself, but only when we are in alignment with it. Anything that we are not in alignment with ends up collapsing, and it ceases to be. It puts us in the position of the Mandela or the butterfly effect. The Mandela effect, I think. There are certain things that we've always thought that we knew that really weren't ever even in existence. Voice of souls, what's the message for the collective? Getting in touch with our inner child is crucial at this time. It may bring a burden of tears, to reconnect, but within that connection is pretty profound forgiveness. It's probably one of the biggest releases that you've been waiting for. But you have to take it to a compassionate place. It's not a place of guilt. It's not a place of ridicule. It's not a place of go stand in the corner. You're not in trouble. It's not picking it apart like it's a big ass problem. It's just simply showing up and apologizing to your younger self for abandoning you and reestablishing that relationship that you have with your inner child. Showing up for them better than your parents did. Showing your younger child, your younger self, what you wanted as a parent. But you can now provide that to your younger self as an adult. As you grow, as you learn different experiences, you can go and sit with your younger self and reestablish that foundation. And the reason why I say that is I believe wholeheartedly by reestablishing a relationship with your inner child, you have the possibility, if you suffer from toxicity or traits of narcissism due to your family or the people that you surround yourself with, you have the availability to recalibrate, transmute the alchemy of your brain and your heart space and actually heal from the pain. But you have to be courageous and go within to be able to do that. You have to be able to reflect. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. And this doesn't mean take yourself to jail. This means show up for yourself. Know wholeheartedly within yourself that certain things that you've done in your life has been wrong, and understanding that you need to change that. Understanding that you need to make something better. Understanding that you need to take it from a different perspective and look at it from a different perspective outside of yourself. It's probably one of the biggest releases, the biggest burden of tears. To grow up in extremely toxic environments and to come out not fucked up, to come out not all hopped up on medication, to come out without a record is extremely difficult. Ultimately, having respect not only for yourself but for other people, knowing that your voice matters, knowing that the wisdom that you hold within yourself actually matters, and to know and to discern as to who you share your energy with. In a world like it is today, we have to worry about that. But in the world of tomorrow, we have the ability to respect each other for who we are. knowing that we are moving forward with good intention. It's not built on lies. It's not built on deception. It's not built on propaganda. It's not instilling fear into people. To bring wellness and peace of mind instead. This is what the new world is going to look like. This is why healing is so crucial. Because if you cannot raise your vibration to the higher frequency, you're not invited. If you constantly sit in the hate, in the shame, in the pain, you'll stay there. If you don't allow those lower south node center points to release, they will hold you back. They will weigh you down. And they will continuously bring you back into this karmic energy. But unless you sit with it, you go within, you sit with it. And you break free from all that would bind you within yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to go and reconcile with anybody. It doesn't mean you have to call somebody up that you've had no contact with. It doesn't mean that you gotta go, do anything particularly to someone or in regards to someone. It's all residing within yourself. It's all residing within how you show up for yourself. Because how you show up for yourself then portrays and provides a perspective on how you can show up for other people. But if you can't even show up for yourself, and all you do is show up for other people, and you got nobody showing up for you, that's not going to work out very well. This is why the world is so unbalanced right now. We're so involved in trying to fill everybody else's cup, and we're abandoning our own. The moment we take our power back, the moment we start filling our own cup, to the point then we are at peace. So then we have the ability and the courage to step forward and help those that need it. But again, if everyone was to do the same thing, we wouldn't have to help anyone. Because everyone would help each other and help themselves. But we can't necessarily do it with the status quo the current way it is, with the constant struggle, the constant inflation, the cost of living. This is why we need to integrate our communities a little bit more. We need to get back to community. We need to get back to working together. The last 4 years was meant to divide us and separate us. And it did. We're coming to a precipice where we're going to have to make a major decision. And we're going to need to stay calm while we do it. I have a feeling that this is having to do with accepting this current status quo as it is. We're not going to be able to do that anymore. We are going to start rising up as a people, but it's going to be of a different kind. It's going to be a different kind of rise. We're not going to be rising with picket fences. We're going to be rising with intention. And this intention is going to be based on our heart. Yes, Jesus will rise. He will rise in the eyes of his children. Source energy, the divine itself. What are we going to do? What is our forward intention? How are we going to allow the divine to work in our life? And how do we know the difference? I'll tell you right now, the divine isn't going to tell you to go shoot down a school. The divine is not going to go tell you to go shoot other people in a mall. The divine is not going to tell you to wrap bombs around your chest and go blow them up somewhere on a plane. The divine is not going to go tell you to murder somebody or hurt someone or rip them off or steal from them. The divine is not going to tell you to work magic on people, to sabotage them. If anything, the divine is going to tell you to heal. The divine is going to ask you to work with intention of forgiveness, of compassion, of love, of friendship, of community. That's what the divine is going to tell you, and that's how you know the difference. It's within the intention. It's not to hurt, it's to heal. So if you have somebody ripping you apart, heal. If you have somebody lying on you, tell the truth. Transmute it. Show them what it is to have the divine work in your life. Show what it looks like by design of what the divine is doing for you. Be the example. Stop waiting for other people to be the example. Stop trying to see it in other people and see it within yourself. That's where it starts. That's where it's always started. And I know for a fact that Jesus screamed that to the hilltops and nobody listened. And I've got goosebumps. So I know his essence is here right now. Jesus was never meant to be worshipped. He was meant to be the example, but he was made out to be the joke. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. He didn't forgive the captor. He didn't forgive the people that hung him up on the cross. He forgave the people that supported him. He forgave the people that were lied upon, that were persuaded, that were deceived. That's who they forgave. Which, in the times of now, it equates to the fact that all the Christians that worshipped him that weren't supposed to worship him, that were clearly deceived by Constantine, by Paul. He's forgiving the deceived. He's forgiving the ones that were lied to, that were programmed. Jesus was never meant to be called on. Jesus was never meant to be worshipped. And Jesus' blood was never meant to be used in anything. But due to the crucifixion, the Christ blood was brought into it. The very cross that you might wear across your neck is to represent the sacrifice, the blood of Christ. Do you believe for 1 second that that blood of Christ compels you? Because just as you were deceived that God is the Son, just as we are all the sons and daughters of the Omega, just as we've been deceived to believe ourselves to be worthless by a narcissistic God. This is why I don't use the term God, because it is filled with narcissism. And yet we wonder where it comes from. And the very fact that the Christian religion belittles you into sin, that we're literally born into sin, the fact that we were born is a sin. Are we wrapping our head around this yet? Of the deception and the propaganda that we've been deceived? the very divine light that is within you, is the essence of creation. The very moment that we realize our true potential is going to be the major game changer of our evolution. But unless we step forward and reacquaint ourselves with our vow that we've made to ourselves before we came here, if we can reacquaint ourselves with that vow, we can bring ourselves and the earth into alignment and bring back the very essence of magic back to earth. Because through the Piscean age, we have lost it within the ridicule and the blasphemy. It was taken away due to the essence of greed and selfishness. How do you feel that our full essence of being was created? The essence of what our earth is accumulated to. The magic was lost because we lost the belief in ourselves, because we switched it over to a false narrative, a false God. The moment we come into calibration with ourself again is the moment that the magic starts to come back. The very essence of intention, the very essence of alchemy, the very essence of energy, astrophysics, the alignment of the planets to the energetic frequencies of those alignments, as well as the day that we were born, has a very, very big significance into that alignment of the planet. And this is why astrology is so predominant. It's due to the elevation of that frequency at that particular time and place. We are essence, we are in essence built from magic. Love, authenticity, compassion are three of the most powerful known energies of magic. Authenticity, love, and compassion are the healers of our humanity. The essence of them can literally heal from the inside out. And I speak from personal experience. I'm not just tooting this out of a book like most people do. It's up to you to research. But good luck, because a lot of this you're not going to find in a book. A lot of this you're going to find within your heart, within your soul. To take into consideration, you have a heterosexual couple. They want to have a baby. They're striving to have a baby. But maybe they aren't currently in alignment with that. Maybe they're not ready, divinely ready. So by them not being in alignment with that, they have nothing but issues, nothing but frustrations. And it's almost as if they're trying to fill a void with the ability to have a child. And this is mainly to the unalignment or the misalignment as to why they want the child in the first place. So the masculine and the feminine, they end up becoming one, and they put the energy into the ethers, depending on what they are visualizing at the time of conception, will bring in the validity and frequency of that child. So if they are bringing pain, if they are bringing suffering, if they are bringing sickness, they are instilling that into the child. So this brings us back to the karmic energies, the karmic masculines, the karmic feminines, and being the fact that they are so shallow and they just want their next fix. And yet they're creating children. And yet they wonder why their children are crazy or unruly or obnoxious and unable to be corralled or influenced. It is thus a part of their creation, of their intention, to fill a void of stagnance, of boredom, with literally nothing but a ball of chaos. This is why, when you're in karmic energy, you should not be playing with magic. And again, when you are in karmic energy, you should not be having children. Children should be brought up and conceived within a divine union. And this is what it's meant to have the sanctity of marriage. And it is only specifically for the essence of creation. If you want children and you cannot have children, there's probably reasons for it. There's either a block within your frequency, a block within your partner's frequency, or a block between the both of you together. You very well could be fine in your energy, they very well could be fine in their energy, but together you do not mix. So, divinely put, this is why you cannot have children, because you are not at a frequency match to bring that magic into the world. This isn't to say that other relationships are not holy. It makes no difference who you love, whether you're heterosexual, whether or not you're demisexual, whether or not you're homosexual, whatever the case may be. But in order to bring life into the world, there needs to be a masculine and feminine aspect to that. And it needs to be a divine connection. No more, no less. Anything beyond that or anything before that within the karmic frequency is karmic offspring. We are the creators of our own reality, and we wonder why it's going to shit. Because we've lost the honor, we've lost the nobility, we've lost the authenticity, we've lost the magic. And as a collective, it's our own damn fault. Because all we needed to do is listen to our heart the whole time. It's been screaming at us. And you wonder why you're all out of sort and you're all out of balance. Because you're distracted by all the shit that's around you. So take the time out to take a step back, to see it for what it is, get pissed off, set yourself free from the deception. But I warn you, once you see it, it's something that you can't unsee. It's not something that you can come back from. And this is about stepping outside of the matrix to see what the matrix is all about. And I'll tell you, it's a piss off. You will know that you are stepping out of the matrix when you start to recognize the different situations, different synchronicities that is going on. You start seeing things that you didn't see before. And then you have ascension, then you have revelations, you have downloads, you have messages coming in, divine messages, divine newsletter. Usually it's a monthly newsletter. We are in the possibility in the process of upgrading our DNA. The current solar storms that are going on right now that are sending that emitted energy to Earth is currently upgrading our DNA. They tell you not to go out in the sun because you'll get skin cancer. So put a whole bunch of chemicals on your skin to go out in the sun to prevent yourself from getting skin cancer. Meanwhile, the chemicals that are in the skin, the sunscreen, are creating the skin cancer. We are meant to be out in the sun. We are meant to take in the rays of the sun. It is part of our humanity. Having all these extra clouds takes away from our humanity. Having all this extra weather, it takes away from our humanity. Our world was not meant to see weather like it has. But yet here we are with weather machines. It's no longer a conspiracy. That's the thing. Art says that we are on the cusp of change. The thing is, we are the change. We're not on the cusp. We are that change. Every moment of every day. We are that change with the impact that we make in not only our own life, but other people around us. And if we continue on with the deception and the division, we will meet our demise. You can guarantee it. And these are the nightmares that I've kept from my consciousness for so long. It's one of the big reasons why I started smoking. Because the nightmares just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was a literal hell on earth that materialized in itself. Mother Gaia was a ruin. A toxic wasteland. People don't know half. People think it's bad now. This is a cakewalk. This is nothing. You think it's bad now. There's famine, there's shitty water right now. You think it's bad now. If we're not careful, it's about to get a whole hell of a lot worse. And it will be a self-made prophecy. It's a self-made Armageddon. And it's mainly because we've allowed the deception to run away with us. So we are the change. We are what will make it different. We will be the ones that make the impact to better the planet. We still have the precipice of turning it around and making it better. But only if we make that action. Only if we take that action. But it's something that we have to do by taking on the responsibility for ourselves and not waiting on other people to do it for you. Mind you, it would be better that we do it as a collective. That way everyone is on board. But it's going to take us stepping into our calling. So vote me for emperor on your next ballot. Let's make some fucking changes. First order of business, we're all allowed to swear, even the kids. Just as long as we don't swear at each other. We can swear at our situation, but we're not allowed to swear at each other. I'm kidding. I'm being funny. Trying to be. Because, like, where the hell is the humor? It's the intention, right? It's one thing to say, oh, you're acting scabby, to you're a fucking scab. It sounds different, doesn't it? Not calling you a scab either, don't get me wrong. God knows the Karens are going off right about now. Don't call me a scab, Aiden, that hurt me. Stop acting like one. Stop being in the vibration of a scab. Raise your vibration. And maybe we can just do away with that whole idea. People coming into my chat telling me I shouldn't swear and that I shouldn't cuss. Like, really? Do you live under a rock? Have you tried scream therapy lately? It might do you good. Starlight, welcome in. Is there any other channeled messages for the evening? Do better. The world needs to do better, even for ourselves. This whole idea of making America great again, or making the world great again, it was always great to begin with. It's just it was tainted. It was tainted. It was always great. It was always beautiful. It was just tainted by the bitterness, by the deception, by the darkness, by the nothing, by the worthlessness, by the hate, by the greed. There's more than enough food to go around, yet all the fucking food banks are at breaking point. We would have more than enough food to go around if we took care of the farmers. We'd have more food than what we'd need. Everybody would eat. If we took care of the people that took care of the produce, if we took care of the people that made all that happen, if we took care of the people that actually deliver all our packages, to deliver it all, over 100,000 people stood up for your rights to have body autonomy and the ability to choose for yourself, and it was made into a joke. Now over 25,000 drivers are being laid off. Maybe even more than that. Like, what is going on with our current system? People are starting to wake up. People are starting to see the truth. They're seeing through the illusion. They're seeing through the deception. The veil is lifted. So we really need to take a step back and really take heed as to what's going on so that way we can make the right step forward for not only ourselves and our families, but the world. I think I'm going to leave you with that, everybody. This is tonight's message. Life is ever so fragile. Jay, Arlo, Angela, wherever you roam, may you be at peace. I love you all from the bottom of my soul, tribe. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for making the difference in my life, just as much as I've made the difference in yours. If you need a reminder, my store is open. Go grab your hoodies while you can. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Put this shirt in it. It's already taken by Lisa Parker. It's actually part of this deck. Which one is it? I forget. It's in here somewhere. I think it's the ace. Hang on. It's in here somewhere. There's one of them. That's one for the set. Where are you? There it is. The hermit. Fancy, I got the shirt first, and then I picked up the tarot deck a little while later. I didn't even realize until I opened up the deck that it was actually the same one. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So, yeah. I wish you all the best, everyone. I'm probably going to take the day off tomorrow. I don't know. I need a day to just meditate and be with spirit. But I should be back on here Monday. I'm planning on being on here Monday a little earlier. It's going to be a little earlier and a little earlier and a little earlier. Trying to get back on a day schedule for my messages. And maybe like an afternoon. I don't know. We'll see. If spirit calls me to come online, I'll come online. There might be a Vortex episode tomorrow. I haven't made up my mind yet. But just know that if you're needing a dose of Aiden, there's plenty of videos here on my page. I thank you so much for the support ongoing. And if you can't be good at it, at least be good to yourself. So then you can be good to others. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.